to get happy.
Hello, 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 hello. My name is Denise Williams, and I'm here with the fabulous Dr. Andrea Blackwood Harriet, who is leading this section of our 21-day challenge to ignite your fabulous life. Doc, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Oh, Denise, it's always such a pleasure to be here
All
and
right.
our guests and all these people come on and really to be sharing in this way with them. I am so happy to be here again this evening.
Okay, thank you. So, actually, this is our seventh day of the challenge, but the third
Absolutely.
day of our
The third
wellness.
day.
So
Yes, yes.
let me give a little background. So the Fabulous Life is a collection of coaches that, we cover so much: money, mindset, creativity, wellness, beauty, transformation. And we really want you to take the journey with us. So we are introducing ourselves in this 21-day challenge. And for those of you who watch the replay, who will get this on the email distribution list, I just want to thank you for journeying with us. And I think we're going to talk about something that maybe maybe it makes sense, but we never really thought about it. And, Doc, I'm feeling sleepy.
Oh boy, you're not sounding sleepy. Um,
Okay.
but if you're feeling sleepy, it may be that there are a couple of things you need to do. So let's get into why you might be feeling sleepy and what may have been the precursors for that, and then we take it from there. That
All
would be
right.
awesome.
Is all about wellness. So just talk to us about wellness because, is wellness just, taking two vitamins and calling it that?
Right. So Andrea Blackwood Harriet, as she says, I'm so happy to be with you. I really specialize in helping executive women get back their vim and vigor and vitality so they're still in line for that promotion, so they can still live out their purpose, make their big contribution. And when you're not well, you're not able to live your purpose. So that is what I do. And underlying that is that wellness is what really enables you on a daily basis to be at your peak in terms of physical and mental outcomes. You don't have to be not sick, but you can be not well.
Right.
Especially ladies, sometimes say, I feel unwell, you're not really sick, but you're not at your peak of performance. And so wellness actually is about peak physical well-being and mental well-being. And
Doc, I want to, say that the mental wellness has been huge.
yeah.
Huge, huge, huge. So cousins in England and persons in other countries talking about the effects of the lockdown.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Not pretty in terms of, that I guess maybe that feeling of loss of control, or maybe you don't like where you live. I don't know. There's just so many things that go with the lockdown that we are under. And I'm hoping that, 10 years from now, people watching this replay and saying, how was it in the pandemic, can really take away from the
Right,
wellness aspect of
right.
this challenge, some long lasting
Mm-hmm,
tips that will help us to feel, because I think this is the first house, so that we can feel comfortable in this house.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right. I mean, a lot of, the definition of stress. I mean, stress is basically how you, when you're faced with negative outcomes, the potential of negative outcomes. And many persons, I mean, we face all kind of negative outcomes, but we have the capacity to bounce back, to pivot. That's a common word. But wellness basically is about increasing your resilience. And we're not talking about stress specifically today. We're talking about sleep and the impact of sleep on the body. But you know that lack of sleep can be the biggest cause of stress. You know,
Wow.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it really can be the biggest cause. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you
Yeah.
a story. I always um, so if we go to that first slide I have that says I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Okay. All right.
Us high achieving women, we have a way of squeezing every bit of juice. The next one, please, Denise.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. There we go.
We
Yes.
have a way of squeezing the last bit of juice. Go back up to the
Naughty.
point.
It's a
Little,
naughty
little,
PowerPoint.
little
It's
boy.
not me.
I sleep when I'm dead.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So I remember that one of my peak performing years when I was a lecturer at UWI was about 1997. And that's because, I mean, we're introducing a new, expanding the offering for the MBA. I was in charge of the part-time MBA. I was traveling to other places, modeling what they're doing. I felt really good. I was, as we say in Jamaica, on my pink of form.
Mm.
Right? And I was at the same time taking a kind of an energy drink. So the company that I wellness company that I partner with is Herbalife, and they have this thing called NRG, and you're taking NRG, it oxygenates your system, you know, it really boosts you up intellectually, and I was doing this. And I was sleeping very little because there was so much to do.
Mm.
And I remember entering a marketing class as the lecturer at 5 o'clock. I opened my mouth and I started to give my lecture.
Yes.
And I don't know what happened. I felt when somebody put a chair under my bottom,
Mm.
and that I didn't remember anything.
Wow.
I woke up maybe an hour after, and I
Okay.
did the lecture.
Okay.
And the persons were looking like, I mean, because I'm saying, what's the buzz? And I say, Miss, you were unconscious for an hour. I mean, we're trying to call people. I mean, it's the end of the day. There's very little support staff, and you just sat there. You were not hearing. You were not moving. And now you get up and you just finish the lecture.
You mean you acted like nothing happened?
I remembered nothing, and I continued where I had programmed my brain to continue. So
Okay.
um, the next day, of course, I had to go to the doctor, and what happened is that lack of sleep short circuited my brain.
Okay.
It just I mean, all the synapses stopped connecting just to rest my head so that I didn't go crazy.
Wow.
In forcing myself, in my willpower, in my I'll sleep when I'm dead framework, I was pushing myself to the point where if I was not in that great of a health,
Right.
I had a mental breakdown. I
So
really could have had a mental breakdown. So,
so is it that okay, so how many hours do you estimate that you were working daily?
um, well, I'm the kind of person in my younger days. I am the one, if you had a 72-hour project, I would volunteer. it was very common for me to go for 3 days and not sleep and boast about it.
Whoa.
It's something that I did from when I was a scientist. There would be these long experiments. You have to take readings 72 hours continuously. And they knew at the office, you want a volunteer? Call Andrea. So that I had that concept of myself that I would sleep when I'm dead. I didn't need a lot of sleep.
Whoa.
And I did not realize how important sleep is, how important sleep is to women in particular, because although it's not on the chart, one of the things for mature women is that I don't know how many of you on the call ever knew when your parents, when your mother was going through menopause. I mean, they seem to have just slide through it because they had adequate rest in their life. What the doctors are seeing now is with professional women who push themselves so hard, they have what is called adrenal fatigue. And so when the hormones drop, normally the adrenal glands would compensate. But for many professional women, the pace at which we work, the lack of sleep that we get, our adrenal glands are shut. And so when the hormones go down with the aging process, there's no organ to compensate and to bring back up that estrogen. And so hot flashes. In fact, some persons are hospitalized, can't do nothing, really just the profuse sweating, the pains, the not knowing yourself, the brain fog. All of that is saying that we are just pushing it too hard and not sleeping enough.
Whoa.
Yes, very, very important. So, once you reach like between 45 and let's say 60, 65, there's a range that says how much sleep that you should get. On average, 7 to 9 hours for an adult person, man or woman, is what is being recognized as optimal right now. And most women, especially now, especially those who have children, they're not getting 6 hours. 5, maybe some 5.5, but not getting the amount of sleep, and it's taking a toll.
So question, if you get used to not sleeping, because that's usually what happens, right? You train yourself not to sleep. What you're saying is later down the road, it comes for you in adrenal.
It's gonna come back and bite you. You're gonna have the adverse effect. You're gonna see yourself get older. You're going to get non-specific pains. So it is going to impact you in some significant ways.
Wow.
So it's very, very important that you do get that amount of sleep on a regular basis. And it doesn't make sense you try to accumulate it. You cannot accumulate sleep. Persons think I will run it down for the week and then I will sleep
Crash on the weekend.
No, because frayed nerves, all of that is going to basically have a toll. Take a toll.
Okay, we have a comment. Says here from Facebook. It says, I was reading some recent research that says when you lose a night's sleep, it's the same effect as being drunk in terms of performance impairment.
Absolutely. And so I think I have some data to say that it may not be here, but it affects your judgment.
Yes.
Your reflexes will slow down by 30%.
Wow.
Yes. So you know that when you are intoxicated, when you drink alcohol, what happens is that your brain cells literally become dehydrated. And that's why many persons say, go drink water. And so until you're rehydrated, you're disoriented, speech slur, your ego self is just totally missing, your conscious self. So you say things you shouldn't say. You behave how you would not behave if you were in a conscious state. You have mental impairment. So
Wow.
same thing when you don't sleep, similar kinds of things happen. Many persons, when they don't sleep, they develop the habit of taking micro naps. So you might just not sleep for about 5 minutes. And if somebody look at it and say, Denise, you sleep, you say, no, I just close my eyes. But it's a way of getting these short reprieve, short moments of reprisal when the body and the brain is just trying to come back into balance with all the things that happens when you sleep. So we have the role of sleep. If we go to the role of sleep there, right? You can't learn well because you know your pathways to remember information. That's where the brain fog comes in. You're not making those new pathways, new synapses, new learning is not being recorded. You also can't process bad memories. And so something that happened and you're ruminating on it, and a man cut you off, a relative is unkind, bad things happen. And I mean, a normal person will just shake it off. When you're in a bad mood and stay there versus when something bad happens and you are resilient.
Can I?
Right?
I need to jump in right here. No,
Drop completely. Yes, go ahead.
this is okay. So here's what I'm seeing here, this big picture, because we are day 7 of the 21-day challenge and day 3 of the wellness challenge. But you know what, Doc? It seems to me that when you look at wellness coaching, I guess the traditional idea is I bring you on, I become your client because I want to lose 10 pounds. What you have been showing us in the last 3 days is nothing like that.
Absolutely.
Nothing like that at all. And it's
Right.
amazing to me because we started, well, just to quickly go back, we started with Liz Terry, and we were looking at the mind and detoxing the mind.
Yes.
Now, when you say the next phase of the challenge is to detox your body, immediately, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. No, what we're doing is look at clean eating, and I will be doing that. But I didn't, the last conversation we had, you looked at water.
Right.
And, of course, last night I put 3 bottles of water right beside me so I could
Awesome.
chug them, you know what I mean? Because I chug it, didn't even worry about the container. Although we did have that Facebook conversation.
Yes.
Now you're talking about sleep regeneration and the impact on your nerves, on menopause, on regeneration. It's the lack of sleep. I don't look 18. I don't know. But I will say this expanded approach of what a wellness coach is, as opposed to the traditional idea. And I guess every time you see a Weight Watchers commercial, that's what you think a wellness coach is really saying. But you are actually helping someone, or your client, should say someone, your client, to basically rebuild. It's amazing to me.
And there are many. I have 2 adult clients right now. I mean, they're doing everything right except sleeping.
Okay.
They're not losing the weight.
Right.
Not only because lack of sleep, the body is stressed, the body senses danger, the body wants to reach for additional food. And so when you are sleepy and you're losing energy and you want to keep up, you may go for a donut, some coffee, and those are exactly the wrong things because those can just totally derail your calorie balance. But it's more than that. If your body is under stress, you're going to make extra cortisol. That cortisol is going to make you make more belly fat because that's a hormone that should not normally remain high. But lack of sleep, the hormone remains high. It makes the body demand more sugar. You're not using up that extra sugar or energy. And so that energy has to go back to be stored as fat,
But what
right?
about people who don't put on
So
weight
it is
and are not sleeping?
you are going to put on weight.
Oh,
You are going to put on weight. So when I do a wellness coaching, one of the things that I monitor for is are you sleeping and are you feeling hungry?
yeah.
Because if you're craving and if you're eating properly, so you're even saying I'm eating good food but more than normal. I know that your stress is not in balance, and so I have to now go work on what is happening. What
Mhm.
is happening? How do we get you well? Not just lose a few pounds, but how do we get you performing optimally, including coming to a good healthy weight?
Wow.
Yep.
That's okay. So, and here, you keep talking in this role of sleep. Wow.
Right.
So,
You see,
many.
all of those things, I mean, you don't sleep well, you have non-specific pains because
Mm,
sleep is supposed to dissipate all the bad, the inflammation in the body. And when it's not dissipated, when you don't get rid of it, then basically you cannot get well. And so you find that the more you don't sleep, the more non-specific pains you have. And the fatter you get.
right.
The fatter you get, the more inflammation because fat, as I think I mentioned it, um, fat is where most of the detox products are held in the body. So fat carries toxins, and toxin cause degeneration and inflammation. And sleep promotes inflammation because you can't get rid of it. So it's a whole cycle of health and wellness that we have to look at.
So, lack of sleep when you're not sleeping.
Yes.
Like you're going to bed 1 in the morning and
And
you're waking up
starting
six.
at 4 or 5, it's not gonna work.
Okay, so you have it here, you know.
Right, right. So we age faster. I mean, yeah, because the cells don't get time to repair. You ever see how a drunken man, really? Look, two men, one who drink and one who don't drink. The one who spends more time in the rum bar and who age themselves and who don't sleep well, they get gray, they get wrinkles, they just look so bad, you know?
Yes,
So
yes,
yes. So you don't get to recharge your hormones. You may have infertility issue. You may have, of course, the skin, digestion, all kind of things happen to you. But it's mainly the hormones that make you male, female, human. Those
yes.
hormones are not recharged, and
Wow.
as we discussed, if you're sleep deprived, then everything, all your responses can be um, go down by about 60%.
Well, we
So
have another comment. Facebook says stress plus reduced sleep equal degeneration and inflammation. Not
absolutely,
sexy.
absolutely not sexy, not good. And Denise, I'm talking to women who are at their prime. They want
Mm,
to be promoted. They want
yes.
to look sexy. They want
Yes.
to find love. They want to
Yes.
be confident. They
Yes.
want to make an impact in the world.
Yes.
And if you are
Absolutely.
not well, it's like, oh my God, you can't. So you feel you want to do something, but you can't do it because you
Right.
don't. It's like having a Benz or a Volvo and the tank empty.
Not
So this
going
is
nowhere.
full of potential and not able to go anywhere, not fulfilling
Wow.
their potential. So that's
Wow. And again, this other slide is, whoo, here we go. It is serious.
yes, yes. So and it's a continuation of the first slide that says when you're not sleeping, you're going to eat, which is so funny. When you're not sleeping, you're going to get fat. When you're not
Yes.
sleeping, from simple things like dropping crockery in the house.
Yes.
You
So if you
want to
have,
have your own balance. You want to step high, and you don't step high enough, and you tumble down.
and if you
So
know someone who has had 4 car accidents in a year, that might be sleep
yes, absolutely. So if you have in Jamaica, I would say a whole hike, which is somebody who is just like a thorn in your side and disturbing your sleep, either because you have different sleep pattern or because I mean their night works activity and your night works activity don't correspond.
Right.
And
Right.
you're in the middle of your sleep and you're being asked to go on night duty.
Listen, boy, my eyes have been
Impact.
really open. The whole wellness thing is just, it's amazing, I must say. It's an
Yeah.
entire, what is, I mean, everything is a lifestyle shift. When you do engage a life coach, you do make up your mind to shift your life in some area.
In some areas, in some areas. So the
And
first thing we
wellness,
always say, are you willing? Are you willing to shift? And sometimes they're willing to shift because one of the programs I have is habit retraining, just
mm,
really getting rid of bad habits or getting rid of habits that don't serve you. And I'm
wow.
always careful to go in those areas that the client is more comfortable. Because
Mm,
something is like if then he said, no, give up potato chips, It's okay. Let's go to another area. Because it's important to have full compliance. As I say, a whole body yes to transforming in certain areas. If you don't have a whole body yes, you're going to sabotage yourself.
I'm serious. I'm feeling so sleepy now because
Yes, yes.
I want to sleep now.
I hear it. I mean, if you're really feeling sleepy, the recommendation is that you're to sleep for only 15 minutes. If you have to work, right,
Right.
then set an alarm and sleep for 15 minutes. That prevents you from going into deep sleep, but refreshes you enough to continue your chores for the day. So
Ah.
when I take a power nap, and this was very popular and remains popular during wartime, you take a unit of sleep that does not exceed 15 minutes. It's enough to refresh you, but don't get you into deep sleep where it is you become semi-conscious
Oh.
and your vibrations is your vibrations are elsewhere. It becomes dangerous to wake you up and you have a hard time getting back in the groove. So 15 minutes, these cat naps, these power naps can take you through. So if you have something else after this, 15 minutes, set the alarm. You won't go in deep sleep, but you will refresh yourself enough to carry on. But don't go as far as I did, where after a while the brain say, look here, you can't trick me now. I am going to short circuit you.
Right. And you have some tips to help us to sleep more. But I have a question about, before you give me, I want you to throw it in.
Mhm.
I don't have a bathtub in my house, so I want you to deal with that tip when you
No
go through the
problem.
day.
No
All
problem.
right.
That's fine. That's
Because
fine.
I have a stand-up shower.
That's okay.
So,
That's
right. All right. So let's go.
all right. So, um, because your digestion takes up so much energy. That's the reason why it takes up a lot of energy. So your mental work, your circulation, and your digestion takes up the most of the energy of your body at rest. And so if you want to sleep properly, then eat and give yourself time to digest the food. The other thing is sleep. Now, what does being in the sun have to do with sleep? Well, it has to do with our circadian cycle, right? Normally, the body produces sleep hormones when the sun goes down. Now, if you are indoors the whole day and not working, then it messes up the body's hormonal cycle. You don't know when to sleep. So surprisingly, if you get 2 hours of sunlight on the upper part of your body from your waist up, then it promotes better sleep at nights. And the blue light. Amazon currently have blue light blockers on special. For God's sake, if you must work on the computer until the wee hours of night, get yourself a blue light blocker, because what the blue light does, it stimulates a part of your brain and will prevent you from sleeping. So number 4 is the Epsom salt. Now, Epsom salt, the primary thing is magnesium, and magnesium is that chemical that really relaxes all the muscles in your body. If the muscles are relaxed, then they don't squeeze on the nerves in various parts of you. Now, if you don't have a bath, then get a bath pan,
Oh,
a basin. If you don't have one basin that can put your 2 feet in,
yes.
get 2 separate basins and put 1 foot in one and 1 foot in the other. There is no excuse for not having the Epsom salt therapy, right? The total body is best, but it will go to the meridians, right? The place with the nerve ending, the place with the neuromuscular system, they all have meridians that end in your feet. So at minimum, submerge your feet in the water. The lavender oil you're familiar with, it's one of the most calming aromatherapy. And so you're going to put it on your pillow or put it in a diffuser, which is just something that heats it up and sends it as fumes in your home. So, and the final one that I think I have like 6 or so. Well, many persons in Jamaica may say, I don't have an AC, I can't sleep in a cold room. Well, sleep naked. Sleep naked. Open the windows. I'm assuming that your window's not low, but open your windows and take off all of your clothes.
Yes.
Get as
you might get lucky
as possible. The other thing that you can do is just before you're going off to sleep is like put a cold press. Put a cold press over your forehead. And if you can really take it, put a cold press on your feet also. And
Wow.
just try as many as you can, and then let me know
Wow.
how you do it. The homework for today is just to go through and see how many. Take the homework up, please, the worksheet,
Yes. Yes.
right? Just to see how many. I think that's the homework you got. How many of these you can do.
Yes. Just give me 1 second, because this the PowerPoint is being naughty. I think it heard you say something about
Not a
it,
problem. Not a problem.
and it just got crazy. So I don't know why it's misbehaving. You
All right. That's the homework. Those
I just saw it.
or who registered, you will get the PowerPoint and you can just for yourself. I mean, we're not going to be checking on you tomorrow who did the homework, but we've been giving you homework for all the challenges, and it's just good to, there you go, rank how easy it would be to implement, and then just pick three and try them this week. And then,
Okay, got a question for you. So
yeah,
number three, we have exposure to blue light. What if you were to set your computer and your phone like it has a nighttime function? Does that work where it changes the light? Does that
right,
work?
not enough. I know that Apple does that. The color changes at night, both
Yes.
on the iPhone and the computer, but that's not enough. The best thing to do is to shut it off an hour before you go to sleep. Just don't
Okay.
have any stimulation. And you shouldn't. If you go to sleep at 9, I mean, there's some people who fall asleep at the computer or who go in bed and scroll their message until they fall asleep. No, that's just not healthy. And
Mm.
generations behind us um, will censor us, because they're going to be the ones who have to give us elder care or lose us prematurely or suffer the consequences of our non-productivity and our ill health and us not making the mark that we could if we had taken better care of ourselves. So we're
Okay.
doing it for ourselves and for posterity.
All right. So the next step.
All right. So I am willing to go through like the 4 pillars of your life with you and see give you some suggestions. No obligation. It's a short how to boost your wellness. You come on, ask you some questions, try to see if I can point you in the direction of like your biggest gap and what you may want to work on first, and then leave you with some value and some things that are more personalized that you can consider going forward for your own wellness. So that's my calendar link. And I've set up where you can just book a half an hour with me and we just have a no obligation chat. I'm not trying to sell you coaching or anything. I'm just seeing when I learn a little bit more about you, I can look at your wellness gap. That's just showing you what it looks like when you book. There are different slots there, and you just click on one. The time will come up. You say yes or no. The Zoom link is there. That is how I will be speaking to you. So I don't have to see you in person. And the idea is where in your life is the biggest wellness leakage? And where should you start to focus? So that's
Yes.
what I do.
Doc, as I said, this is these couple days with wellness. Tomorrow's our last wellness challenge, but I can only say, wow, it has really opened my eyes
Mm,
to the whole idea of wellness not being just, oh, I lose 10 pounds. It's vivid, it's wild.
yeah,
And I thank you. And of course, for those who watch the replay, the links to the coaches will be there. We will have all the links necessary. And I want to just thank you again, Doc. And for those of you staying for the rest of the challenge, you know that we have the fabulous slides, we have our coaches, and we welcome you into the family. Thank you so much.
thank you also, Denise, for putting this together. You're the mastermind behind this whole series. Really appreciate everything you do, and thank you so much, participants, for joining, and those who will join on the replay. I
Yes.
wish you well.
And I appreciate you for appreciating me. So thank you.